Good morning, student. Welcome back in this class. I hope you are healthy and safe at your home. This is the class 9, subject social science, and today we are going to discuss chapter number 2 of economics. And the topic name is people as resource, and this is the lecture 2nd. Student, in previous lecture we have discussed about different factor of production, and people are the most important factor because they have skills, knowledge and ability, and they can convert raw material into useful form. So student, let's start. So student, let's start, and today we will discuss about some topic. Firstly, we will discuss about economic activities. Economic activity are those activities which are related to earning money, and it includes three sector. And after that we will discuss about quality of population. Population is an asset for a country, and the quality of population especially dependent on education and health. So after that we will discuss about importance of education, and after that we will discuss about provision of education. Some step has been taken by the government to improve the condition of education system, and after that we will discuss about importance of health, and after that we will discuss about your homework solution, that question I have assigned in previous lecture, and after that I will give some question in your homework. So student, let's start, and firstly we will discuss about activities. And student, economic activities are related to earning money, and economic activities contribute in the national income. It also add in personal income also. So in economy activity, there are three sector: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector, it is also called agriculture sector, and in our country 60% people dependent on agriculture. And in primary sector we use only natural resources without interfere of human being. So all type of natural resources include in primary sector, and the example of primary sector such as agriculture, mining, sericulture, pisciculture, viticulture, horticulture. And secondary sector, it is also called manufacturing sector, and it is also called industry sector, because in this sector we can convert raw material into useful and into finished goods with the help of money, machinery and people. So all type of construction, all type of industry includes in secondary sector. And third, tertiary sector, it is also called service sector, because in this sector they provides only services just like transport, banking, trade, communication, warehousing. Any type of services includes in tertiary sector. And all people, they are involved in primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector, because the main functions of economy activity to earn income. So topic is determinants of earning, and the earning dependent on education and skill, because educated person and skill based person, they earn more income better than unhealthy or uneducated person. But in our country, a majority of women have low education and low skill compared to men. There is a difference between men and women work, because most of the women have low education and they have low skill. They have less technological knowledge compared to men. And there are some reason behind that there is a difference between men and women work. First reason is due to historical and cultural reason. There is a division of labor between men and women in the family, because in our country we follow our culture, and due to historical and cultural reason there is a division of labor between men and women in the family. And next is Women generally look after domestic chores and men work in the field. Means women they look after the household work and men work in the field and men work in outside the. And next, the household work done by women is not recognized in the national income because the work done by women is not valued and it is not recognized in national income. And most of the women worker lack basic training and skills, so they are paid low wages because due to less knowledge of technology, and they have less knowledge of any skill, and so they are paid low wages. And next is, most women work in primary sector. Most women work in primary sector such as agriculture, sericulture, PC culture, any type of. But in primary sector, there is a lack of job security. There is no job security for women, no legal protection, and provides irregular and low income. Most of the women they get less wages as compared to men, and there is no job security for women. So, and there is a absence of basic facility like maternity leave and other social security system. No, there is a absence of child care facility, maternity leave and other social security system. Or and the job of women are not secure, and there is no legal protection. So we can say that there is a difference between men and women work. Men work is recognized in national income, but women work is not recognized in national income. On the other hand, highly educated and highly skilled women are paid equally as men, but it is possible only organized sector. So, due to historical and culture reason, there is a difference between men and women work. Women get less wages as compared to men because are uh, women have less knowledge, women have less basic skills, and they have less training, so they get less income, and it provide irregular and low income, and there is no job security for women. So we can say that there is a difference between men and women work in our country. So next topic is quality of population. Quality of population specially dependent on some factor, and it depends on education and health factor. And the quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy and skill formation which is required by the people of the country. And literate and healthy population are assets for a country. You know, student, literacy rate means the percentage of people above the age of 7 years with the ability of read and write. Mean those person above the age of 7 years they have a skill to read and write. And health of a person indicated life expectancy means it is the average time of individual is expected to live in our country. And skill formation also. So the quality of population depends on education level, health level, skill formation and life expectancy. And in a country, literate and healthy population are an assets for a country because a healthy person, a educated person earn more income than uneducated and unhealthy person. An educated person and healthy person they can contribute in the growth of society. So the quality of population dependent on two factor, education and health. So firstly we will discuss about education. And education is the most important factor of economic and social development because education it is the process of learning. With the help of education we can enhance our learning system, and it open education open new horizon because education help in increasing the mental horizon of the people. It enhance our mental ability, and it also help in developed human personality. And third, it provides new aspiration and develops values of life. It provides new opportunity, new method and new values of life, and education help develop standard of life, and it enhance develops values of life. So with the help of education we can enhance our knowledge, we can develop our standard of living. An educated person contribute in the growth of society, because education because education encourage economic development, and educated people they contribute in the growth of society because they take participation in the society, and they maintain discipline in the society. They must follow rule and regulation in the society. So educated people they contribute in the growth of society. And next, it enhances the national income also, because educated people they earn more income, and they add value of their personal income, and also they contribute in the national income. And it enhances culture richness, because in our country there are different type of people lived in, and in our country we must follow the other culture also. And educated people they respect other culture and other religion also, so it enhances cultural richness and increase the efficiency of governance, because a educated person they can contribute in the growth of society, and they participate in the political activity, and they educated person they can check the work of the government, and they take participate in the political work. So we can say that educated person they increase the efficiency of governance. So we can say that education is the most important factor for social and economic development, because with the help of education we can enhance our knowledge, we can enhance national income, we can enhance personality, and we can enhance cultural richness and increase the efficiency of governance. So these are some important features of education. Next topic is provision for education in India. And the government has taken some provision for improvement the condition of education. Firstly, it providing universal access, retention and quality in elementary education with a special emphasis on girls, means the government providing education to all students, and they providing quality based education, and they providing basic and elementary education to all students, and they especially focus on girls education. And after that, according to the national education policy 1986, they opened Johar Navodaya Vidyalaya school in each district, and for the main purpose of Navodaya Vidyalaya school to find out talented student in rural areas. So according to the National Education Policy 1986, they opened Navodaya Vidyalaya school, and the main purpose of education policy to provide quality based education. And the next is vocational stream have been developed for high school students, means education provided on the basis of a skill and knowledge based education, especially high school student, because after completing their education they will easily get some job, and they will start some business. So vocational stream started for the high school students. And the next is in 2010 and 11, the literacy rate have increased from 18% in 1951 and to 74% 2010. Means in 1951 the literacy rate it was only 18%, but in 2010 and 11 it is 74%. Literacy rate, it is the rate of the person above the age of 7 years, it is the ability to read and write. And female literacy rate remain much lower than male literacy. In our country there is a difference between male and female literacy, and literacy among male is nearly 16.6 higher than female. and it is also about 16.1 higher in urban areas compared to rural areas. Means in urban area people are more focused on education, but in rural area there is a lack of education facility. And in in our country female are less educated, and especially in rural area people they do not focus on education. And next is, there is wide variation in literacy rate from one region of the country. For example, there is about 94% literacy rate in Kerala, but 62% in Bihar, because Kerala has more developed state and they totally focus on human capital formation and they focus on education. So the literacy rate in Kerala 94%, but in Bihar only 62%. And according to the data of 2017-18, the expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP, gross domestic product, and according to the data of 2017-18, our GDP expenditure on education only 2.7%. GDP means gross domestic product, the total value of goods and service that produce in a country in a year. So we can say that there is a variation in male and female literacy rate. There is a variation in one region of the country. Kerala is more literate state and Bihar is less literate state. And next is government steps to provide education to all. The government enhance education level in our country, so they focused on primary school. The primary school system has expanded to over 8.58 lakh in 2013 and 13 and 14 in India. The government has focused on opened many primary school and they provide quality based education to all poor children. And the government initiative of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan aims, and government opened a scheme, and according to Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, the main aim to providing basic education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 year. And after that it opened a midday meal scheme also, and according to the midday meal scheme has been implemented to increase attendance and retention of school children and improve their nutrition level. Means in midday meal scheme the government provided fresh and cooked food, and the main purpose to provide nutrition food and they improve the nutrition level of the poor children. And the government totally focused on provide elementary education about the age of 6 to 14 years. And the next topic is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. And the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, the main slogan of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Sab Padhe, Sab Badhe. And it was started in 2001, and it was started by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2001, and the main aim to providing elementary education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 year by 2010. And the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is a time bound initiative of the, it is time bound program started by central government with the help of state government and local government, and the main aim to provide basic and quality based education to all children above the age of 6 to 14. And they started bridge courses, and back to camps have been initiated to increase the enrollment in elementary education. The government focused on many students, they have to come and completed their education, and they have started many courses, many bridge courses and many back to school camp. And after that, to reduce social, regional and gender gap with the active participation in Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, many community members they active participate in the management of a school, and the main purpose of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan to provide value based learning. And the slogan is Sab Padhe Sab Bhade. So the main purpose of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan to provide elementary education, and the education is must based on quality based education. Next topic is midday meal scheme. Midday meal scheme, it is a school meal program of the government of India. It was started by the government of India, and it is a school meal program. It provide nutrition food to student during the daytime. And midday meal scheme has been implemented to increase attendance and retention of children in school, and they improve their nutrition level also. And the midday meal scheme, it was launched in 1995 in our country. And the main purpose of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan and midday meal school to implement to increase attendance and retention of children, and they improve their nutrition status, and they provide quality based education about the age of 6 to 14 years. And the next topic is objective of education in 12th 5-year plan. According to the government, they implemented 12th 5-year plan, and 5-year plan it has changed and its name is Niti Ayog. And the main purpose of 12th 5-year plan, its main objective at increasing the enrollment, means most of the student they completed their higher education above the age of 18 to 23 year, because many students they drop out their education before completing their education. And the main focus education in age group 18 to 23 year to 25.2% by 2017-18, and they focused on 30%. It has increased by 2020 and 21, and the main purpose reducing gender gap in literacy rate. They focused on equally education provided to girls and boys. And next is improving education system. They want to provide quality based education, easily access, means all students they easily get education. And they focus on adoption of new curriculum, and curriculum is based on skills and ability. And they implemented vocationalization and networking of information technology, because with the help of vocational course and information technology they will get easily job, and they will easily start a new business. And it focus on distance education and non formal education in 12th year planning. They focus on distance education, means those students they do not get education in school, so they will complete their education with the help of distance education and non formal education. So this step has taken by the government to improve the condition of education. Next topic is health. The quality of populations depend on health also, because the health of a person helps him to realize his and her potential and the ability to fight illness. The definition of health is to fight the ability of fight illness, and health does not mean survival only. It involves not only the physical fitness of the individual but also his mental, economic and social health also. Because good health increase the efficiency of worker. A healthy person they can more work, and a health increase the efficiency, they increase the potential, they increase the efficiency of a worker, and it improve the quality of life, because good health increase the learning capacity of work. And any type of work they want to more healthy person. A healthy person can contribute in the growth of society. So we can say that health and education are the most important factor of a population. And some terms of health is just like infant mortality rate. It is the death of a child below 1 year of age. And birth rate means it is the number of babies for every 1,000 people during a particular period of time. And death rate due to huge population, and it is calculated on the per thousand. And death rate it is the number of people per thousand who died during a particular period of time. And in our country, some step taken to improve health condition by government. And first, improving the accessibility of healthcare, means providing health facility to all person, and to provide family welfare program, and to provide nutrition supplement service with a special focus on the underprivileged section means poor people. They have no money, they have no resources, and the main purpose of the government to provide easily accessibility of health facility, to provide family welfare program, and to provide special services, a special nutrition facility to the underprivileged section of the population. So some step taken by the government to improve the health condition of our country. And next, outcomes of health. During the last 50 years, India has built up a vast healthcare manpower and infrastructure, and the result are in last 50 years, India has developed more health facility and manpower and many infrastructure, and the result of this, due to different health facility in our country, life expectancy has increased to over the life expectancy according to the year of 2014, it is 68.3, and the infant mortality rate has come down from 147 in 1951, and it is only 34 in the year of 2016, and curate birth rates had dropped to 20.4%, and death rate also 6.4%. And reduction in infant mortality rate involve the protection of children from infection and ensuring the nutrition of both mother and child and child care. So the government has focused on more health facility, and due to the more health facility, life expectancy in our country according to the 2014 it is 68.3, and the death rate also reduced because the government has focused on better medical facility and better medical facility, better health facility also. So these are the outcomes of health. And next is health challenge. In our country, there are some lack of health facility because in our country only 381 medical colleges and only 301 dental colleges in our country, and the maximum number of college in four states, there are four states, there are more number of college just like Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So it is the duty of the government to open more colleges to improve the health condition of a country. Question number second, mention any three factors which lead to human capital formation. And answer is education, health, and training. Question number third. Give four example of tertiary sector, and answer is trade, communication, transport, and banking. Question number fourth. Explain how investment in education creates the virtuous cycle of human development. And answer is educated parents invest more heavily on the education and health of their children because they realize the importance of education. And second, they are also more aware of their children needs of nutrition and hygiene. As a result, the child with investment made on her and his education and health yields a high return in future and contribute more to society. So this is how virtuous cycle is created by educated parents, and virtuous cycle is very good for the society because it is development cycle. Question number fifth, how Japan, a small nation, has become rich and developed. Explain. Answer first. Countries like Japan have invested in human resource. Second, Japan has invested on people in the field of education and health. These people have made efficient use of other resources like land and capital. Third, efficiency and technology used by people have made these countries rich and developed. So we can say that Japan is small nation, but it is more rich and developed. And question number 6, what is the differences between economic activity and non-economic activities? And answer is first, economic activity, those activity which are done for monetary means, which are done for income, for money gains, or to satisfy his and her wants. And second, all the activities which contribute to the flow and production of goods and service in the economy. Third, these activity add value to the national income. Example, just like any type of business, teaching, shopkeeping, business, engineering, doctor, all types of economy activity includes in. And non-economic activity do not contribute to the flow of goods and service in an economy. Second, non-economic activity do not add in national income. And third, increase in non-economic activity is not an indicator of the progress of the economy. An example, any type of social services includes in non-economic activities. So student, today your homework, firstly you have to revise topic and find out following questions. Question number first, how is human resources different from other resources like land and physical capital? Question number second, what is the role of education in human capital formation? Question number third, what is the aim of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan? And fourth, what is the full form of CSC and PHC? Question number fifth, name the two states which have poor health indices and few medical college. Question number six, why are women employed in low paid work? Explain. And student, all question should be in points and all question you have done in your fair notebook, and keep learning. Thank you.